Hi everyone, welcome to Wealthy Mindset. My name is Oliver. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a great day, like always. And today I'm going to be covering these stocks: BlackBerry, GameStop, AMC, and Nokia. Also the Dow Jones, just to help with the overall market. This is specifically for trading day February 26th, and I'm going to give you guys the highs and lows by analyzing the graph. Now today's trading day, February 25th, definitely an interesting day. Pretty epic stuff, but I'm going to break it down to what happened and how are we going to proceed forward. Now, if you want to find your specific stocks, before I get to that, I'm going to be covering the Dow Jones first, and then I highly encourage you to watch that so that at least you get a feel of the overall market. And then if you want the specific stocks, they'll be in the description down below in terms of timestamps, and you could just click the timestamp and get to the specific video time for your stock. Now, quick disclaimer, like always before I begin, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a professional, so please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. Do not buy and sell based off the information I share with you or the opinions I form. So this is all just my opinion. It's not advice. And I do own shares in BlackBerry, been holding it for 6 years. So long-term investor over. Also, one more thing, if you do like videos in terms of stocks or these videos in general, or mortgages, credit scores, passive income, financial freedom, consider subscribing. Thanks again for the awesome support. Really appreciate it. Now we're going to start off with the Dow Jones first. And I'm going to show the Dow Jones overall, obviously, but I'm going to show a little bit of fundamentals as to why we went down today. Now, it's not a sure thing, but it's a little bit potential as to why the market consensus is. Now, for the new viewers who haven't seen, I'm going to quickly run by some fundamental stuff or graph fundamentals. We have an upward trend resistance line dating back since the dot-com bubble 2000 / 1999 specifically. So upward trend resistance line 1999. Dates are right here, like always. And then peak of dot-com bubble 2000. We passed it ever so slightly and had it a false breakout. Now 2018, back tested it right here. And then just before the pandemic, back tested it twice. Had the pandemic right here, and then V-shaped recovery. Upward support trend line formed, back tested right here, or a touch point right here, and a touch point right here. Now we did pass it like this upward trend resistance line since the dot-com bubble in 1999, so that was a good sign. But we had a false breakout and passed up back up to the upside. So far, this is the reason why I'm bullish over on the Dow Jones. Now I'm going to get to the fundamentals, and I'm going to get back to the graph just to elaborate more on what happened today and then what's going to proceed forward. And if you're interested in terms of overall market and as to why I'm bullish, there will be a video that pops up here you get to watch, or it's going to pop up at the end of the video as well, and you can watch it then. Now, the reason why technically that the markets went down today is because the 10-year treasury yields have been going up since February 10th from 1.13% to 1.61%, which is 48 basis points. Every 0.1 basis point, or every 0.01 percentage counts as a basis point. So if you add 0.48 to this, you get that. That's how it is, just in case if you're interested about the breakdown. Now, technically, in terms of technicals, this shows that inflation is increasing pretty rapidly, right? But this is just a technical standpoint. And even Federal Reserve Chairman Powell says, everybody don't worry, this is just technical. It does not represent the real world. And the reason why people are worried about that is because if inflation goes up dramatically, the way to combat that is to increase interest rates, right? So people are worried that the Fed might increase interest rates, and if they do, then what tends to happen is an inverse correlation, where if interest rates go up, stocks tend to go, if interest rates go up, stocks tend to go a little bit lower, right? And it depends. As the higher they go, the lower hypothetically stocks will go in terms of reaction, right? Now I'm going to list everything down below in terms of resources. So if you want to read this, you can read it. And I'm going to show the interest rates. I'm going to link this also down below. Also, if you're interested in terms of reading business books and all that stuff, for the books I've read and the books I'm reading currently, they'll be linked down in the description below if you're interested. And so basically, interest rates have gone, like, this is since 1970 probably, but 1980 for sure. And they're extremely low. Now, not the lowest since, like, let's say 2007 to maybe 2008 right here to 2016. This was literally zero. But right now, they're somewhere between 0 to 0.25. So we're still relatively low. And it's not a huge concern, but I will post up a video in terms of the overall market again. I did part 1. I'm going to do a part 2, and I'm going to show the correlation of inflation and additional stuff in terms of the overall market and potential stock market crashes. Now let's get back to the Dow Jones. And for the Dow Jones, the only thing is though, I messed up a little bit. Sorry guys, last time. And not even just specifically for today that it went down. So like I stated in the previous video, we're not going to just go straight up. We're obviously going to have like a down. I said also one thing I did say was, where is it? Right about here. So I did say that even though we're up here, it's not going to just be a straight shot up to the upside. We might come back down, back test on the, what is called, this channel right here. So we had a channel for quite a while. You could see it back tested as resistance, back tested as support, resistance right here. And the channel was continuing. My plan originally was supposed to bounce off here, go to the upside, but it bounced here and went up to the upside. And then if it did come down, I thought it was going to act as support here, right? Even though it never solidified as support, but it potentially could. Instead, it just shot down, bounced off the channel, came down again, just destroyed this line right here, and it's trying to bounce off the moving average. But where the MACD line crossed over to the negative around this time, roughly right here, this is the 1 month chart though, so this is the 1 month MACD line. The reason why I'm saying I messed up a little bit is if we go to here, so upward trend support line, technically, I completely missed this the other day. We have not, actually I was going to delete this, but hopefully you guys can see it. So you see how it back tested up on the upward trend support line right here. So again, one back test, second back test, third back test. We technically have not done that back test yet. So we still have time to do it. Hopefully we back test and don't break through, because I did analyze it a little bit before. If we do break through, the problem is what's going to happen is we have this support as support right here, which is good. Hopefully it holds us through, because essentially, so we have a couple options. If we let's go here, back test and go to the upside, that's good. That's what we want, right? Ideally. So then that solidifies this upward trend support line. If we don't and we break through, that is fine still, as long as we back test up on here. Again, just like the other video, for some reason on this top portion, the lines mess up, but we need to hit this line and bounce up to the upside, right? If we do break it, it is potentially fine, because from what I analyzed it, we might hit 30,607, or no, 30,600 or 30,700, and maybe 30,800. 30,800, I don't think, it depends on when we hit this line, because the higher we go or the longer we go, the higher the price point goes, right? So if we, essentially, if we get to break this sooner, hypothetically, then the sooner we could, like, the lower we could go without breaking this line, right? And essentially we want to bounce off and all that stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, if we hit 30,600, we'll create a false breakout if we do this quickly, right? And then that'll be fine, because this would act as support at the right time. If you could see it line up with the dashed lines, like I'm trying to hit this point right here, even though it shows 30,700 right here. For some reason, when I analyzed it, it was actually not that point. It was about 30,626 or 30,670, somewhere around there. I forgot exactly. So technically, we could go back under 31,000. That's what I'm trying to say. But if we don't break this support line, then the value I got that I measured was 31,100. Now I could be a little bit off just because the graph kept on messing up every time I try to analyze it at that point. But roughly around 30,100. So hopefully we bounce off at that level. If we don't, we could potentially be breaking this line. It would be easier to figure out day by day as we go, but we'll see. Now, if we go to BlackBerry, BlackBerry was very interesting today. Some very interesting stuff overall. But for the new viewers who haven't seen this, we have an upward trend support line dating back since October 2020, right here, October, November, December, January 2021. And this is still intact right here. So if you could see it, we were coming down. We did not break it, so that's good. And then potentially yesterday, we closed out, by the way, 10:58, and after hours is 10:43 for today, right? February 25th. Now, it's kind of strange. So yesterday, we broke through this downward trend resistance line. If you saw the video, we spiked up, completely cleaned it. Downward trend resistance, the resistance line right here, destroyed it. Resistance line horizontally at 1150, destroyed it as well. Moving average, completely destroyed it. The only problem is we had this last one, and instead of fully passing it, we just had multiple false breakouts. So we had two. Arguably, you could say three technically. You could see it, it's almost like a little bit passing there too. But realistically 2 false breakouts, right? Like I stated, we need to pass 1246, 1250 exactly. We only got to 1215, which is not maybe I think we hit 1220, but I don't know if that's an error or if it's actually a correct read. But either way, false breakouts nonetheless. Came back down. You could see we bounced off the moving average right here, the long moving average, and then we bounced off the short moving average as well. Now MACD line is in the negative right now. This is for the month trend moving chart, so it's not necessarily like for the long term, but only for the month chart the MACD line is in the negative. Formed a downward trend line, but this downward trend line is not a big deal just because this is just for the tomorrow's trading day, I believe. Yeah, it's only for tomorrow's trading day, so it's not a big factor. So don't worry about that too much, but just only be concerned for tomorrow for this downward trend line. Now the question is, what's the play? It's almost like, to be honest, I don't see a reversal happening at the moment. Actually, I just noticed this right now. I doubt, yeah, it's not holding through. So you can see this is not even a real upward trend support line, or is it? It's debatable. I don't know. Either way, regardless, it's a little bit debatable, but we bounced off it, pretty much solidified that we're going to be going down, which is a bummer. But it's okay. It's possible to still reverse, hopefully. But what I'm expecting to do is essentially at one point is when we do meet this downward trend line, we bounce up to the upside. Now, the thing is, though, the question is, you guys might be asking, well, okay, how low are we actually going to go? Because it looks like we're going to be possibly breaking this downward trend resistance line, right? Well, the thing is, though, okay, so when I do logarithmic, it's a lot more cleaner in this viewpoint. If I do algorithmic, it shows right here. You can see, by the way, it lines up right here, support line, support line. When I measured it right here, we have still room to go to the downside. Now, this is like basically the utmost lowest we could go. And from what I measured it, the bottom of it is $8.02 and $8.02 and $7.98. So somewhere between this range. If we break lower than this is why, like, when I see somebody post that we're gonna go to the $6-7, not saying it's not impossible, right? Nobody knows for sure. But if this is intact still, the upward trend support line, then I don't think we're gonna see those levels. The utmost lowest we could see is this, right? Now, it all depends. Like, again, nobody knows for sure. So we'll see how it goes, right? So now if we get to this level, so we have those, but essentially for tomorrow, I don't think that's a play for tomorrow. That's more for the long term. And again, just to keep in mind, let's say we go this way sideways and then bounce here, right? Well, if we don't fall here, then by the time we get to here, it'll be like at the $8.50 or like $9 price point, right? So the longer we take to hit this upward trend support line, the higher the price goes. So we won't be seeing those low levels anymore, right? Like just before I've showed in the old video where we had this downward trend resistance line right here. If we just dropped straight down, we would have saw the lower levels automatically, right? But we'll see how it goes. So far, I think we're okay for tomorrow where we're going to still go down, but this is the levels we're going to see for tomorrow. So there's support at the 1037, 1037 to 1027, right? And I think we're going to see that tomorrow just because we pretty much don't have anything to really hold us up. Then we're going to see 1011, 1012. Now, if we do drop below the 1011 to $10.11, $10.12, we have support at the $10.02 and $10, but it's just like the problem is the last time we ended up dropping lower than $10, right? So these are okay, but last time we dropped below that, we pretty much broke through the 995. There was a level at 988, 983, but I pretty much removed those because they are good support, but I was just like, the main support was 963. There is pretty good support there. There was, I was going to show it, that's okay. I'll show it probably another time, but there is good support at 963. And I'm hoping, worst case scenario first, is we don't go lower than the $10 price point, right about here. Hopefully we don't. Now, if we do, we could be touching these levels, but 963, I hope, is the utmost lowest. If not, these are all good support levels, 931, 940. This was pretty strong, 931, by the way, 912. But the problem is we're going to start trickling down to these levels. And if for long-term investors, you guys know about the $8.88, like that's, for some reason, Nonstop was closing on those days every single time. So just keep these in mind. I myself don't think these are hugely in play, but they are a possibility though. And I'm not just saying like, oh, possibility, like for the fact that, yeah, we could be on those levels. Yeah, we could go down to, like, for example, some people say $6, but those, I don't know if they're just trolling just to say $6. That's the only thing. But these could be in play if specifically this level breaks. I think if 963 breaks, and I'm not talking about a few cents, I'm talking about like if it's a false breakout, it could break a false breakout to 955, 950. So essentially, I would say if it drops lower than 950, then these would start getting in play, which it would start trickling down, right? And this is a good support level, but I don't think it's enough to hold us, to not make us go down to these levels. So that's the only thing is. We'll see. It just, again, stocks go up and down every single day, so things need to be assessed. Okay, so now for GameStop, it's actually looking pretty good, believe it or not. So now we have a upward trend resistance line dating back since September 2020. We have another one dating back since December 2020. And both of these are still in play now. This one was the main one that basically we were hovering, had a false breakout, went back above, bounced up, and then just went straight up to the upside, which was awesome, right? And then we basically had this upward trend support line back in play. Now we bounced off. Okay, so hopefully you watched the other video, but we didn't pass, like we had false breakouts to the major upside, so that's a downfall. Ended up coming back down, and then we're bouncing off the moving average. So hopefully it continues. If it does, that's awesome. The only thing is though, there could be a little bit more to the downside. Now the levels that we have as support, if you think it's going to go to the downside, I'll cover the upside soon. But if it goes to the downside, I think, or actually what I'm planning for, hopefully when it does come down, it bounces up off the support line, right? The support line is right here, going off this. It's not necessarily the strongest support line, but it's potential. And we could see right now, it looks like after hours, it just broke through this moving average too. So that kind of sucks. But we'll see if it holds or it doesn't hold. It could just be a false breakout. But either way, first support line we have is $100. You could already see we're just hovering around that right now. The next support line, we do have support between the $186.42, but it wasn't that strong from what I saw. It was like one of them was $97. It was okay, but not strong enough to include it. The other one I believe was $90 or something, or $93. But in terms of strong support, it was $86.42. Then the next support level, if you believe that this upward trend support line will hold, it's $75.90. So I was anticipating that would happen in the early of the day. It could be somewhat / mid of the day, but that would be like the lowest if you think this upward trend support line is going to be played on as support. Then if you think it's going to be a false breakout, then $67.80, that could potentially act as like somewhat of a false breakout, but like a quick one. And then if you think that this support line is going to be played tomorrow, this upward trend support line dating back since September 2020, then you're looking at $59.90 to somewhere between $59.90 to $58.35. So $59.90 or $58.35 for the bottom line support. I don't think it's going to go lower than that tomorrow. If I had to, I don't know, if I had to guess, I would say between these two. I don't think this is in play tomorrow, but if it is in play, this stock, by the way, keep in mind, nobody knows for sure, but plus these stocks are extremely volatile. Like in terms of predictions, some of the predictions I make, they play out, like I expect them to be a week long. They play out in a matter of 2 days. So extreme volume, extreme volatility definitely affects things by a lot. If we do go lower, I'll let you guys know and I'll comment down below. Now for the upside, which you guys need to pass is pretty much around the $114, $118. That's just only depending on how you guys open tomorrow. Again, this is without pre-market information, so it's a little bit difficult. But I'm gonna like remove that in terms of potentially it's hard to tell for tomorrow. So the main focus is you need to pass 141 first, so that way you could be back in play. You might get shot back down from the 141 level. Technically, another level that I did mention yesterday was 150. That's still in play, but it's just there was constantly 156, 157 that was shooting you guys down. It could still shoot you down, but I think if you guys do reverse the upside, that wouldn't be much of a resistance level. It just keep in mind it could be, but the main one is it's 177, 176. Hopefully you guys pass that tomorrow. If you do pass it and you're optimistic you think you will pass it, the next level is 198, 199. And to me, one of the most important levels would be around the 234, 237. Because if you guys pass that, pretty much you guys get into the part of passing resistance and going underneath, like not underneath, but being in like a support like level kind of thing. So hopefully you guys do that tomorrow. I don't think that's going to be in play tomorrow. I think if anything, tomorrow you guys might be at like just the brink of almost $200 level if you're extremely optimistic and just bounce it up to the upside. But I don't think that. Hopefully you guys end somewhere around here between like the 140 and 177. Hopefully there's like a consolidation period. At least it'll be to the upside. But we'll see. Anything could happen. And yeah, you could even consolidate at this level, I guess, $85 to $112. But then you would essentially be breaking this upward trend resistance line or upward trend support line, and then just be consolidating throughout the whole entire time, which wouldn't be that bad, I guess. So that is a possibility. But yeah, so keep that in mind. So now for AMC, just for the new viewers though, we have a downward trend resistance line dating back since 2016. And you guys did pass it during the January 2021. But the problem is it was a false breakout. You guys got shot down by the moving average, came back down, and I'm going to zoom in to show you guys what is happening overall. Now, you did have an upward trend support line right about here. Formed it, you can see back tested here, downward trend resistance line, you guys broke off, consolidated, and then went up to the upside. Had another upward trend support line. You guys did pass this resistance line. The problem is had a false breakout. You bounced off it, tried to stay above, unfortunately came down, and then now you broke through this upward trend support line as well. Unfortunately for tomorrow, I think you guys might be heading down. Hopefully you guys have a reversal. There is a chance at this level, 766. You can see, like, I remember I checked on the other side too. There was a couple levels at this point. I didn't expect to actually hit this level in after hours, but it is so far. But the next level that I would be thinking that you guys would be going through, you could hit these levels and it could hold you 766, 762, 748, which was around 747, 750. But I think you guys might be touching at the 720, 721, and then the 705. Specifically, it was 703, 699. I don't know why it's showing, I guess 702, somewhere around there. So 703, maybe 707, 705, but 699. Now, if you think that it's going to touch this upward trend support line, then essentially when I measured it, I think it was like at 670 or something. Hopefully, yeah, it was around 670. The thing is too, the good part is not only do you have this upward trend support line to hopefully bank off of, so if you come to the downside, hopefully bounce up to the upside and start going back up to this resistance level, but you also have this moving average right here, right? So you're below the short moving average, but yet you're above the long moving average. So hopefully by the time you get to here, you bounce off this because you'll have technically double support. So hopefully that does play out. Hopefully you guys do reverse to the upside off that. MACD line is in the negative, unfortunately. So that is a bummer. But if you think that no, oh, by the way, oh yeah, so that level 670 I told you, technically the exact price point when I measured it earlier was 668. Now, if you think that it's going to be, if I go to logarithmic, I believe, yeah, if I go to logarithmic, it potentially, that was that was a logarithmic view. Algorithmic view, the actual support is 630, 602 between that level, depending on how fast it drops. Now, I don't think that's necessarily in play for tomorrow. I think the utmost lowest, in my opinion, would be 608. But I'll let you guys know if anything does come into play further after that, if you guys drop lower than 668. Now, for the upside, if you're optimistic that it's just going to reverse the upside, yes, you have like a bunch of resistance levels. I can just run through them right now. The first resistance level is 810, give or take, 811, I think, last time I checked. But let's just say 810 right now. Next one's 838. The next one is 867. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be 868. But either way, give or take, again, a couple pennies up and down here and there. But the main one that I think the level that you guys really want to break tomorrow is the 897 to 888. Obviously, you're going to be like, yeah, obviously we want to go as high as possible. That's no-brainer. But this will, to me, if you guys break this level, it will actually be like positive to upside completely. Hopefully, it's not a false breakout. I would be more confident if it breaks this level. Then it would show that it's not a false breakout, right? Technically, it is possible. Hopefully, in the pre-market, you guys get back up to this level where you could actually, for the day, play at this level, right? So hopefully, but that's the spiel for the AMC. So for Nokia, like always, just for the new viewers, we have a double downward trend resistance line dating back since like 2000, 2001. And you guys back tested right here. Now you do have an upward trend support line. So technically for the somewhat long-term time being, you guys are still good to keep, hopefully, essentially if you do come down to this side, bounce up to the upside, like always I try to show you guys is, let's just say the line's right here, comes down, bounces up to the upside, and hopefully you guys continue and then break through this. You could probably like shoot down and then come back up, but like always, anything's possible and nobody knows for sure what the play could be. But we'll see in terms of what could happen for tomorrow. Now, unfortunately, you did break through the upward trend support line right here. You had this upward trend support line right here. You broke through this downward trend resistance line, but once you spiked up and you got knocked down by pretty much I know I stated in the other video, yesterday's video, that 830 is going to be a difficult resistance level for you guys to pass, and hopefully it's not a false breakout if you do pass it, and you did pass it at 434, but unfortunately it was pretty much like a false breakout, which kind of does suck. So basically back tested and started heading back down, and then just broke through this slash resistance slash support level, because these lines, even though they're resistance, when you're above them they could act as support. Just keep that in mind. Came back down and broke through this upward trend support level, and pretty much either it looks like you back tested the moving average, so now you're below both moving averages, got shot down by the moving average as well. Right here you can see it bounced off it and heading down. MACD lines in the negative. Now the question is, what's in play for tomorrow? It's kind of debatable for Nokia, but for tomorrow you guys do have, from what I checked, a lot of support at the $4 price point, so hopefully you guys stay above $40 tomorrow. Now, because in my opinion, I think a lot of things are going to be down tomorrow potentially. Again, like always, nobody knows for sure. But given that, you guys might start coming back down to the $3.90 and $3.98 level. So roughly about, like, let's say, hopefully you guys don't pass $3.98. But if you do pass $3.98, you're back into the play of like $3.94 and $3.95 pretty much. You might close off the day around the $3.94, $3.95 tomorrow. But hopefully you don't. But I don't think it's going to go lower than $3.88. Worst case scenario, I think more in play if you guys do break down that $4 support level. You guys are going to end up going probably at like not even just $4 support level, and then if you break $3.98, then pretty much close off the day at $3.94, $3.95 tomorrow. That is if you don't reverse the upside. But if you do reverse the upside, the first level that you need to break is pretty much at the 412, 413, pretty much exactly 413. You guys are going to have issues passing, and then after that, you do have 418 in play, and then essentially 422 I think is going to be the utmost max for tomorrow. It's going to be completely difficult. And again, if you do think it's going to pass 422, I'm just going to include it just in case. We're back at the 430 price point. Technically, you could say 434 if you want to, but that would be more potential false breakout. But 430 is the main point. If hopefully you guys pass it, but I think if anything to the plus upside, the most pretty much most part, I think from where was it? I would say yeah, 411, 412. That's basically where you guys close at if you think you're going to go to the upside. But I don't think that's probably going to happen, either consolidate or 394, 395. So that's pretty much it for the video. Thanks again for watching, like always. And if you do like the video, consider dropping a like. It helps the channel a lot. And if you do like videos in terms of passive income, mortgages, credit scores, stocks, financial stuff, consider subscribing. Helps out the channel a lot. Thank you so much for that. And if you have any questions, definitely do not hesitate to ask. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Thanks again for the awesome support, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.